So, what are you supposed to do when you run out of things to say? I think we should rephrase that question, and instead of trying to never run out of things to say, instead, I want you to focus on your goal being stop thinking about what you can say and instead say what you think. And that is not so easy when you've lived your entire life just always needing to prepare beforehand and to know what you're going to say before you say it. But if you don't do this, then you're going to have to prepare every single conversation that you go through, and it's going to be exhausting mentally. So I want you to focus on instead just learning to say what you think. And in order to do that, you have to overcome barriers. Your mind is going to come up with a lot of excuses and a lot of reasonings that you have used over time in order to get you, in order to convince you that for some reason you can't say what you want to think, or no, you can't say what you actually think. I think you'll generally find that your thoughts come up with enough conversation ideas, but the real reason why you don't have conversations with them is because you always shut them down, and that happens when like it's kind of a fear where like you're afraid that the other person won't find what you're thinking about to be very interesting. But you never know until you try it. If you say something that could then lead to somebody relating an experience or telling a story about themselves, or that could then, make you remember something that you can then tell another person, like your own personal story or anecdote. And then we get to the question like, you told me to stop thinking about what to say and then to say what I think, but what if I really think about nothing? And if that's happening, it's because you're still trying to think of what you're trying to say. Your problem isn't that you speak too quickly. Like, there's some people whose problem is that they just blurt out whatever they're thinking, and that can lead to funny situations, but also some consequences. Your problem isn't that. Your problem is that whenever you do think of something to say, you just never say it, or you wait for the perfect moment to say it, but then that perfect moment never comes. So how do you overcome that? So a practice that people have recommended before is called thought dumping, where basically you get a piece of paper and you just write down, you just keep writing. You write, and the point is that the pen is never supposed to stop. And as you do this, you will come to realize how many irrelevant thoughts or embarrassing or weird thoughts that you might have. You still gotta write those down anyway and act like nobody's gonna see it, because this is a practice that's supposed to help you reduce the time it takes for thoughts to turn into words. Because if you can reduce that time, then you will speak more often and you won't shoot yourself in the foot when it comes to socializing. Another thing I noticed about myself personally is that there are some times where I just feel like energetic, or how do I describe it? Like carefree or happy or something. And I'm just talking to myself like a madman. Like I'm commenting on that random person over there. Something happens, I'm making like a joke about it to myself, and I'm talking to myself. I talk to myself a lot, but the key to being able to speak your mind is that relaxed mindset, that relaxed mood. And if you really want to just freely say what you think, you have to be relaxed and you have to learn how to put yourself in that state of mind. But I think generally that will come from your like life satisfaction, and like the happier you are with your life, the more carefree you're gonna feel sometimes, and that's when you're gonna start blurting out random jokes to yourself. Well, that's what I do at least. And on days like that where I talk to people, I then have amazing conversations because there is no space between thought and mouth. Like my brain has already been trained enough to the point where I know I'm not gonna say something too offensive, too ridiculous. And chances are that that's how your brain works too. Like your brain has 10,000 filters, and if you try to say something, it's gonna like skip it over. Say something offensive, it's gonna skip it over and not let you say it. Even if you reduce that time that happens between thought and word, that's still gonna happen where you're gonna say something, but it's still gonna be filtered anyways, and you'll just be having a better time and you'll just be conversating without having to worry about saying something stupid. So that is how you can... I forgot what the point of this video. I'm not, yeah, I need to meditate more. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.